Hello everyone, myself Pooja Sharma. This is class 10th economics lesson 3 money and credit brought to you by Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School. Today we will start our new chapter that name is money and credit. So in this chapter we are going to cover these topics. First, introduction. Second, money as a medium of exchange. Third, loan activities of banks. Fourth, sector of credit. Fifth, self-help groups. So first topic is barter system. Barter system means when the both parties agree to sell and buy each other commodities without money. It is called barter system, and it is also called double coincidence of wants. But in that we can see some limitations. That suppose if the shoe manufacturer had to directly exchange shoes for wheat without the use of money, he would have to look for a wheat growing farmer who not only wants to sell wheat but also wants to buy the shoes in exchange. That is, both parties have to agree to sell and buy each other commodities. So this is known as double coincidence of wants and barter system also. It is too much complex and time consuming because what a person desires to sell it exactly what the other wishes to buy. In a barter system where goods are directly exchanged without the use of money, double coincidence wants is an essential feature of that. And in that expression of values for goods, because what the commodity we are exchanging, that is not of a equal value also or not of a equal weight also. So these are the limitations of barter system. Next topic is money as medium of exchange. In contrast, in an economy where money is in use, money by providing the crucial intermediate step eliminates the need for double coincidence of wants. It is no longer necessary for the shoe manufacturer to look for a farmer who will buy his shoes at the same time sell him and when wheat. All he has to do is find a buyer for his shoes. Once he has exchanged his shoes for money, he can purchase wheat or any other commodity in the market. Since money acts as an intermediate in the exchange process, and it is called medium of exchange. Okay students, so I hope this term is clear. Now medium of exchange use of money has removed the problem double coincidence of wants. That means we no need to search the similar person who will take your commodity and you can exchange their commodity, and the exchange has now become convenient and simple. So for example, it would not be necessary for the farmer to look for cloth manufacturer who will buy his grains and at the same time sell him cloth. Thus money has solved this problem because now people do not have to search for any other one who will be ready to exchange his goods. This is because now money acts as a medium of exchange. Measure of values also. Money serves as measures of value in terms of monetary units, because we know that if we are exchanging commodities in the barter system, that values of the commodity is not same, but when we are using medium of exchange, that time our monetary unit is safe. Modern forms. So our next topic is modern forms. Modern forms. Money consists of paper notes, coins, and bank deposits. So the modern form of money includes currency and deposits with banks. It can be classified into coins, paper notes, and credit money or deposit with banks. Earlier, they were made out of precious metal such as gold, silver, and copper. The modern currency is without any use of its own because in India, the Reserve Bank of India issues currency notes on behalf of the central government. Indian law legacy the use of rupee as a medium of payment that can't be refused in settling transaction in India. No individually in India can legally refuse a payment made in rupees. So money as medium of exchange authorized by the government of India and it is controlled by Reserve Bank of India. No one can refuse to accept and used for measure of value. So in our India, rupee is accepted as a currency of our country. Demand deposits. So what is demand deposits? Demand deposits is the deposits with the bank that people have the provision to withdraw the money as and when they require, since the deposit in the bank account can be withdrawn on demand. These deposits are called demand deposits. Okay, so deposits in the bank account can be withdrawn on demand. These deposits are called demand deposits. Demand deposits are deposits on an amount as interest also. They act as a medium of exchange like money. They constitute money in the modern economy. They are accepted widely as a mean of payment by way of a check instead of cash also. In demand deposit we have a check also. So what is a check? A check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whose name the check has been made. Okay, so in that whose name in there that have a money to them. So demand deposits offer check facility to the bank account holder. The facility of check against demand deposits make it possible to directly settle payment without the use of cash. Bank use the major proportion of the deposits to extend loan for various economic activities. This create employment and income to the people also. So now our next topic is loan activities of banks. First is credit. First know the meaning of credit. Credit means loan. That refers to an agreement in which the lender supply the borrower with money in return for the promise of future payment with interest. Okay, so this is called credit. So the credit, the difference between what is charged from borrowers and what is paid to depositors. It is the main source of income of the banks. Suppose you can see here in the picture, there is a bank. In the bank, only depositor is not coming. Two type of people are coming. One is come to deposit their money and one are the borrowers who are coming to borrow money from the bank. So whatsoever the money is deposited by the depositor in the bank, that money is used by the bank as a loan to the borrowers and they will take or charge interest on their money. Okay, so whatsoever the charge money is taken by bank from the borrowers, that is the income of the bank. So what is the advantage of the bank? First thing is helps people to build home, because everyone now needs the money. So suppose anyone is want a home, that time they will take loan, home loan from the bank. Or expansion of business also, if anyone is wants to expand their business, that time they need a money, that time also they are borrowing money from bank as a loan. And farmers can grow crop. Every year small farmers needs a small amount for growing crops, that time also they need loan. So these are the advantage of the loan. Disadvantage of the loan, some everything is comes in the advantage and disadvantage. So loans also have some disadvantage. First thing is high rate of interest, because without interest bank is not giving a money. So if bank provide loan to the borrower, that time they are charged high rate of interest of that money. Second thing, requirement of security assets. Not only they are asking the principal money to them with interest, but also they are asking some security item also when they are giving them loan. No loans for the poor people, because poor people are not have the things which is asking by the banks. So poor people are not easily getting loans from bank. So what is the terms of credit? Terms of credit is the process of credit, means when we are going to take credits or loan from the bank, that time what kind of things we are accepting or we are have to pay to the bank. First thing is interest rate. Cheap and affordable credit is crucial of the country's development. It is true that to achieve the overall development of the country, cheap and affordable credit is necessary for all. So at that time we need some terms of credit need to follow. That is interest rate, which the borrower must pay to the lender along with repayment of the principal. That is interest rate. Second thing is collateral. Collateral means such as land, titles, deposits with banks, livestock, or any other costly things that they can give as a collateral or security purpose to the bank, and when the bank is asking. And documentation is the thing in that bank is asking the salary slips and bank statements and their job surety. These types of documentation also asking by bank when they are providing loan. And one more thing that is in that is mode of repayment. This means how the borrower would repay the lender loan amount. For example, on monthly, quarterly, half yearly or yearly basis. They may vary depend on the nature of the lender and the borrower. So the term of credit vary substantial from one credit agreement to another. It is depend on the loan, that what kind of loan they are asking, that is depend their interest rate also, collateral also, documentation and mode of repayment also. Next is sectors of credit. So in that we will talk about the sectors of credit. There are two sectors of credit: formal source of credit and informal sources of credit. Informal sources of credit, in that we will first talk about formal source of credit. Formal source of credit is the credit includes loan from banks and cooperative. Okay, whatsoever the loan is providing by the banks and cooperatives are called formal source of credit. We need to expand formal source of credit in India for the following reason: formal source of credit are less risky and they charge low rate of interest. The Reserve Bank of India supervises the functioning of formal source of loans. It monitors the bank in actually maintaining cash balance. RBI ensure that loans are given not only to the profit making businessmen and traders but also to small cultivators, small scale industries, small borrowers, etc. Okay, so compared to the formal lenders, most of the informal lenders charge higher interest rate, so cost to the borrower becomes much higher. That leads to income, so borrowers may become victim to debt trap. So formal sector's loan help reduce dependence on informal source of credit. Second is informal sources. It is based on mutual trust. No collateral is required there. High interest of rate charged there. So in formal sector we can see that there is no rule and regulation is there. Higher interest rates on loan is charged. No organization is there to supervise its lending activities. They are ready to give loan without collateral. Poor households largely depend on informal sources, and in informal sector loans are providing by traders, employers, money lenders, relative, friends. These are providing loan. It's called informal source of credit. Now our last topic of this chapter is self-help groups. Self-help groups. Reason for dependence of informal sector: because banks are not present everywhere. Because we can see that in the rural areas or in any other areas we are not have a banks, and getting loan from bank is difficult because it is have a long process and they are asking many things like documentation, collateral. So loans are taking from formal sector is too difficult, and informal sources providing loans without collateral also. That's why people are moving from formal sector to informal sector, and getting loan from informal sources require no documentation also, because in formal source of credit we are saying that they are following terms of credit, but in informal source of credit they are not following any kind of terms of credit. That's why they are providing easily, but in that there is too much risky, but people are taking loan because they are not have any collateral, they are not have any documentation. That's why they are moving to informal source of credit. Self-help groups. So self-help groups is a group in that 15 to 20 members belonging to the same village, and their main motive is to pool the saving of the poor people. Saving per member can vary from rupees 25 to 100, means in that there is no restriction that how much money they have to deposit every month. According to their ability, according to their capacity, they can deposit money from 25 to 100 every month, and the self-help group provide loan to their member at a reasonable rate. It's regular in saving. Suppose they are saving this deposit from last 2 years, so as self-help group can have loan from banks without collateral. Loan is sanctioned in the name of the group. So in that there is no provision of certain members or certain amount to deposit. Members are free to their number and amount to deposit in the group. Most of the important decisions regarding the saving and loan activities are taken by the group members. The group decides as regard the loan to be guaranteed, the purpose, amount, interest to be charged, repayment schedule, etc. all are decided by the group members only. And also it is the group which is responsible for the repayment of loan by anyone. The member is allowed by seriously by other member in the group. And the self-help group borrowers overcome the problem of lack of collateral and documentation requirement. Besides, the regular meeting of the group provide a platform to discuss and act on a variety of social issues such as health, nutrition, domestic violence, etc. These type of discussion also they were discussed in self-help group. So self-help group is the better option for the rural area to get loan easily and discuss their views regarding this. So our chapter is completed. Thank you.